Shalom Yasrallah. First and foremost, I want to say all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the house of David. Salutations to you, brothers throughout the four corners of the earth, teaching the truth and righteousness and sincerity to you, Israelite foreigners. Come back home to the truth. To those that passed on, serving the Lord, the dead in Yahweh Shai shall arise first. To you, sisters who believe, keep encouraging and supporting your brothers who are out here teaching this truth, and always commemorate the sister who washed Yahweh Shai feet when you read the scriptures. All right, I wanted to bring out this book. I'll be honest with you, I had this book in my car for the longest and I stopped reading it. It's A View of the Hebrews or the Tribes of Israel in America by Ethan Smith. Now, there's a lot, and when I tell you a lot of books that go into the Native Americans and the Native Mexicans and you know, basically the 10 tribes being descendants of Israel. All right, but hold up. I want to see the right resolution that can be, you know, you can see what I'm seeing. Right. I want to read this to you. And this is why it was so important to the so-called white man to study that the Native Americans, because we got to understand that this truth is practical. And there's practical reasons why we have this truth now and these records were preserved. What is in the interest of the white man, the so-called white man, in identifying the Native Americans as Israelites? I'm going to explain that to you after. Of course, part of it is after they whitewashed us and they raped, robbed, and murdered. But anyway, reading on, this is page 150. And it say, the writer of the archaeology of this saint whom the unhappy Montezuma, the most noted and venerable Mexican chief when the Spaniards first arrived at Mexico, thought he recognized in the soldiers of Cortez, the Spanish general. We know by our books, said Montezuma in his first interview with that Spanish general, that myself and those who inhabit this country are not natives, but strangers who came from a great distance. So understanding that, you know, we did the 10 tribes come to this country. We understand that part. It says we know also that the chief who led our ancestors hither, the chief who led our ancestors here, returned for a certain time to his primitive country. Primitive meaning first. So you can argue this is Yahweh Shai. You know, this was during Assyrian captivity. You know, we're not certain who actually physically led them here and then went back to our primitive country. But it says, we have always believed that his descendants would one day come to take possession of this country. Since you arrived from that region where the sun rises, and as you assure me, you have long known us, I cannot doubt but that the king who sent you is our natural master. So here's a misunderstanding of scripture. You know, these white men, they did not come from the actual Middle East. They came from east of the Americas. So they put them in the wrong, you know, it's the wrong region to begin with. It's not the same region where the sun rises. The sun rises in the east, in the Middle East. All right. But this was the mentality, according to this author of Montezuma. And this is why it's very important that white men identify the Hispanics as Israelites. Does that mean it's wrong or it's a lie? No, it's just a means to an end. Because when you look at it, things like this are why you have Hispanic MAGA people. You have Hispanic race traders that sold out for the white man. And you have a lot of Spaniards that are actual damn Spaniards. You know, this information serves a purpose for the so-called white man. But if you really break it down and understand it and go into the scriptures, you can really still break the curse and break the lies and what Esau's trying to do in his attempt to get the native Hispanics to know that they are the children of Israel. Because even accepting this literature, this is saying that the king of Spain is our natural master, which is false. But it's definitely a possibility that Montezuma thought that, but that doesn't make it true. When you combine the scriptures with this knowledge and understand the practicality of it, this is a thing that Esau. There are so many books proving that the Native Americans are Israelites, but these books also point to the false idea that the white man is our master. So you have to be very careful with this literature, and you have to pause, spit out the bones. But with that, I'm going to say shalom.